What up, guys? It's your boy HarryWilmington here, and today we have a question from a guy who's been getting inconsistent hookups with his girlfriend, and he wants to know what he needs to do in order to make it more balanced. And so I'm going to read through his situation and stop along the way to give some commentary. By the way, if you're new here, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and check out my website, HarryWilmington.com, for all of my ebooks, audiobooks, and programs. So this guy says, I live with my girlfriend. We're co-workers and gym together every day. Quickly started to live together, and it's been a month. So I'll start off by saying, just off that first sentence, I can tell this guy is spending way too much time with this woman, which is gonna prove to be important information later when we go over her sudden decline in wanting to hook up with him. But suffice to say, you should be giving each other space, and living together so quickly is not ideal. Ideally, you would wait until you're at least engaged to live together, because people think that living together is going to allow them to learn a person and to see what they're really like on a day-to-day. People can still hide that whether they're living with you or not, but living with somebody, I can tell you now, it creates a lot of pressure for things to have to be super serious and for other things to come into play that maybe you weren't talking about beforehand, and it can cause a woman over time to start to lose interest, especially the sooner you move in with her. Like, ideally, you don't live together so she has time to miss you and to think about you and build a stronger connection with you by having to have her brain think about you and be extra attracted to you. When you don't allow that to happen, women lose interest. So he says, first 2 weeks was a honeymoon phase and we banged every day. It was great. I take her out for steak dinners and buy our groceries for the most part. The last 2 weeks, suddenly she became volatile. She hadn't hit her period until a week ago, but she already started to reject me saying, quote, I just am not feeling it. So again, he's seeing something that he's not aware of, which is the end result of spending too much time with the woman. Because part of her having desire for you is her having a feeling of wanting to see you. But if that want is removed, then a crucial part of what causes her to build more attraction to you goes away. So him living with her on a day-to-day basis, on top of spending a whole bunch of time together, on top of working with each other, on top of going to the gym together, you can see she is not really getting a break from this guy. So what can happen over time is he now becomes regular old boring stimuli, because at no time does she have to think or wonder if she's going to see him or if they're gonna get together. He's always there. He becomes like paint on the wall. And that over time becomes boring to a woman, to where if she wants to have any kind of mixing up, she has to suddenly have her feelings be a bit lowered, so that way there's a hope that maybe you can do something that builds them up again. But for right now, they're seeing each other all the time, and that is going to cause burnout. That is going to cause her to start to not want to see him as much and not want to have him around as much, and also it'll then affect her libido. So as you can see, they see each other all the time, and all of a sudden now that they live together, so they're seeing each other nonstop. On top of seeing each other outside the home, they're also seeing each other in the home nonstop. This does not create desire. If anything, it starts to create apathy. And that's the thing I think most guys don't get, is that having you around all the time, you're thinking if you're around all the time, that's proof that she loves you. It creates apathy. It causes you to look like boring stimuli, and it can cause her to have a lower libido. So then he says, I continue to treat her well, but I did communicate that I request some sort of sexual affection in the morning, such as touching each other, and she agreed that day. The next day, she's back to going internal. Why is that? Because unfortunately, guy, you cannot negotiate a woman's sexual desire for you. Like, you can't say, hey, I know you don't feel like doing it and you're not aroused, but you still need to touch me or do something sexual to me so I feel good. It'd be ideal if you could have that conversation and be that direct, and then she'd be like, oh, you're right, I totally should be doing stuff. But here's the reality, is that women are feelings-based, and they make their sexual moves based on how they're feeling about you in the moment. You cannot negotiate with a woman how she feels about you at any given time. But you can do things that guarantee that her feeling of attraction for you is going to be on the higher plane versus starting to lower. For example, if you don't live with your woman, then she has time to miss you, and that kind of activity and that kind of allowing her to be away from you will actually increase her interest and attraction and arousal for you to where when she sees you, she's going to want to do it. So if you were seeing her, for example, 2 or 3 times a week, then there'd be space in between to where she'd have just enough time away from this guy to feel that she wants to hook up with him when she sees him. If you're not building that in, then unfortunately, that's not going to be there and it's going to be lower. Now, some of you guys might be saying, okay, but like, what if you're married to a chick and you guys see each other every day because you live together? How then do you facilitate that? Well, we will get to that portion in a second. So he says, now she calls sexual interaction as a, quote, special consideration time and only does it when she feels like it. Not good, because we want her to feel arousal enough to want to come to you and want to hook up with you. And if that's not happening, again, men take these as signs that women are playing games or jerking them around or not jerking them around. But really, you got to understand that when women have these kind of reactions, you have to look at what things have you potentially been doing that you're unaware of that could cause her to have a lower threshold of libido for you. So again, he's not aware that being around her all the time nonstop is resulting in lowered interest. If he were to know that, he could start looking at, okay, what times can I cut back us being around each other or seeing each other? Or maybe I don't have to go to the gym with her all the time. Or maybe some days when she's at work, I take off, or when she's at home, I'm not always right up under her. Like, you still have to build in time for the other person to not be around you, even when you're with them long term, so that way they have a break from you. Anytime a woman feels that she can't get a break from you, then that's going to cause her to lose interest and her libido by proxy. So then he says, still on her period, but it's a hit or miss if she wants to be affectionate in the morning. Now, this is key right here. I notice she warms up to me a lot more when I'm in a bad mood with her. It's like when I'm nice and sweet, she doesn't like to reciprocate. Should I just continue to be cold with her and stop being sweet so she stays on her toes about being reciprocal in the relationship? So here's the thing. This guy thinks it's about him being mean to her and being in a bad mood that's making her suddenly be horny. That's not what's going on here. What happens is when he's in a bad mood, her brain starts to think, uh-oh, he's in a bad mood. He might potentially not see me as the perfect person, or he might want to suddenly break up with me. I hope that's not happening. You know what? I need to prove to myself now that he doesn't want to break up with me. So now I got to seduce him. So now I got to do some things so that way I get back in the place where I know that he still likes me, and then I can go back to rejecting this guy. And so what this guy is learning is that him being in a bad mood, probably if he's in a bad mood with her, it probably results in him what? In him needing some time away from her, needing his space, needing to go out there and hang with the boys a bit, or just go out on his own somewhere while he's trying to get over being mad at her. And he could do that without being mad at her. Like, he could just, the method and things that he's doing when he's upset with her, in terms of like not wanting her around and probably needing space, he could still do those things, which is a positive way of doing it, and have it result in her wanting to come to him. Because again, as I tell you guys, you need to build in space for your woman to want to come to you. And it's been shown in study after study that this is where guys get into, I don't like the way that I got to play games with women and whatever. I'm just telling you what studies say, which is that there have been studies that show that when women are not completely sure if the guy they're with 100% likes them, they end up liking that guy more. And so, yeah, when you build in time to not be around her, when you say to her, hey, babe, I'm going to go to this thing over here, but you can't come with me. I'm just going with my friends, but I'll see you in a little bit. Even that little bit, if it makes her brain go, he didn't want me to go with him. What's that about? Now, when you get back, she now has to prove to you and prove to herself, actually, that you still like her. And what does that mean? Hey, babe, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, I just bought this lingerie. What do you think of this? Hey, let's go to the bedroom so I can show you a thing real quick. Like, that's what happens. But this guy is too afraid right now, based on what he said right here, to build in that kind of time. And so here's how you prevent this from happening. Because again, the thing he's talking about basically is that sex is inconsistent. When women get a sense that you are all about them, that you're willing to suck up to them, that in fact, she is your entire world, that is when women start to lose interest. And men show this in ways that they are unaware of, okay? So perfect example, you're at home after a long day's work before she gets home, right? As soon as she walks in the door, what is your response? Are you the guy that's walking up to her, hey babe, how you doing? Oh my God, I missed you so much today. What's going on? How's your day? Sit down and tell me about it. If you're that guy, she can feel your desperation. She can feel your need for attention and need for touching. And men, we don't do a good job of not telegraphing to women that we want to be touched. You know, everything we do is like, hey, I want to touch you. We're in the kitchen with them. Hey babe, what's going on? Like, you're doing all this touching nonstop. But what are you doing? You're thinking you're trying to show her affection. What you're doing is you're inhibiting her ability to then want to come over to you and also initiate touch. And guys do that so much that women just anticipate that their guy's gonna always be touchy, even at times where they may not wanna be touched. And so if you're reacting that way when she walks in the door, that's an example of her being like, okay, he's gonna touch me again. He's gonna wanna try to get all over me. Oh my God, he's all obsessed with me. Versus you get home, you're sitting at your desk like I'm sitting at right now, and you're working on some stuff, your girl comes in. Hey babe, what's going on? You just kind of look, oh hey, what's up, how you doing? And you go back to working. Now what's her brain thinking? He didn't jump up and talk to me. He's not obsessing about me or asking me how my day was, what's going on. You know what? Maybe I need to walk over to him and just kind of touch him on the shoulder and say, how was your day, babe? And kiss him on the cheek and then see how he reacts when I do that. So she goes over to you. Hey, babe, just got back. How you doing? Kisses you on the cheek. And you're like, oh, I'm doing great, babe. Hey, you look great. How's your day? Boom, back to what you're doing, right? Now you're gonna think this is mean. You're gonna think you're not showing her attention. You're playing a game by not acting like she's interesting. No, what you're doing is what she needs you to do, which is you're setting yourself up for her to come to you. As I always say, if she's chasing you, she can't be replacing you. But even if a woman knows that you love her, you still gotta set up times where there's a level, I don't want to say a level of unassuredness, but there's things you set up whereby she has to come to you to seek out that affection. Women by proxy are built to seek out connection with other people. It's why they gather amongst themselves and want to talk and chat, whereas guys can typically do stuff solo and be fine. So you need to leave in space for her to come and seek out your connection, and you don't withhold it from her the whole time. Again, she comes in, you're sitting at the desk, hey babe, how's your day? And you're not jumping up, you're not running over to her and trying to touch her and hug her. You're letting her come to you. She comes over, hey babe, oh hey babe. Then give her a hug, give her a kiss, get back to what you're doing. Hey, and then she walks over to the bedroom. Hey, I want you to check this out in the bedroom. Oh, now she's calling you to come to the bedroom versus you being like, hey, so when are we gonna sleep together? When are we gonna hook up? Are you gonna, get up in the morning and touch me? Like, when you come with that kind of energy, you look weak, and it unfortunately takes away your power. And you don't need that. Versus her coming to you seeking affection is her way of saying, hey, I know that you're my source of affection and care and kindness, and I really, really want to feel that. Please give it to me. That's better than you just, and this is the thing too, guys oftentimes will just freely give all the affection. And again, you're gonna think that's a bad idea. How dare you say that I should not just freely give affection? What I'm saying is you should always have affection on reserve to give, but you gotta leave some room at times, not all the time, but at times for her to seek out that affection. Also, her coming to you, you can get an idea of the level of affection she needs. Because sometimes as guys, we go to women and just want to give all the affection all at one time and all the touching and all the kissing and all the sexing and whatever. And that, especially if she's on her period, she may not be in that mode at the moment, but she might be in that mode later. And you'll know that if you don't get butthurt and just give her time to come over to you. But again, this guy living with her and being around her all the time, that really is what's causing this woman to have a lower libido. So for you guys out there that have experienced this kind of thing, it is okay for you to be in love with somebody and not see them all the time. It is okay to give them space. Even if you're living with them, it's okay to not do every single activity together. And also as a guy, just as a general rule, you should not be begging for physical affection or sex. Like, even if she's like, he says they're starting to slide off a little bit, I found, honestly, usually if that's happening, it's because the guy is coming at them way too hard with a whole lot of stuff versus just kind of being patient and laid back. The more patient and laid back you can become, the better odds are that the women that you're with will be coming to you requesting that you have more hookups and more affection and more touching. But if you don't leave room for that, like I said, you're not gonna get it. So hopefully that helps you guys out. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to this channel, and go to HarryWilmington.com where you can sign up for one-on-one coaching, as well as check out my ebooks, audiobooks, and programs. I got a great book there now called Stop Losing Women, which has been very, very popular. And it's a guide that's gonna show you the ways that you need to move about in your dating life so you can stop losing women. So check that out. at the website. That's all I got. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.